Ashes of Creation might be in a little bit of trouble. I do apologize for the audio quality, for the visual quality. I am in a hotel. There's a storm, an ice storm that is sweeping across America right now. And to escape it, I went to a hotel in Florida, which means crappy internet, crappy visual quality, mic quality. But I'm still here to report on things going on in the MMORPG genre, more specifically today pertaining to Ashes of Creation. There was a thread made over on the MMORPG subreddit titled "Layoffs Have Hit Ashes of Creation Developer Intrepid Studios." Here is the post that was made by Stacy M. "So sad to hear the layoffs today at Intrepid Studios Inc. To any of my friends affected, please feel free to reach out. I'll see what I can do to help and or provide moral support. Times are rough, but remember, you are not alone in this." That's rough. The game has, 250 developers. They claim that they have millions and millions of dollars of funding, that the game is doing great, that the game is moving along nicely. They haven't really had any hiccups, and they have the funding to fund the game for God knows how much longer. Reddit has not been kind here. The scam is coming closer to an end, I see. I bet they have one more trick, though, before it's shut down. And before we read any additional Reddit comments, I will immediately point out here, there is an official response from the CEO of Intrepid Studios himself, which we will touch on in just a minute. But before that, let's take a moment here to read through some of the comments, see what they're saying. Now, they'll just have the ashes of their creation. See, it fully launched. Now they're going to work on it with a skeleton crew. That's how this works, right? All the big AAA games do it. The game is finished. I guess the people saying that Intrepid had all kinds of money and wasn't releasing on Steam for a quick cash grab were wrong? Yeah, they were right on the money. Game is bleeding players and now layoffs. I'm going to go ahead here and take a look. I'm curious how the game is doing in terms of concurrent players. Let's sort by an entire... Well, I mean, yeah, it is definitely bleeding players. Over time, the game has continued to decrease, but at the same time, that makes complete sense. Not only is the game still in, I think it's alpha testing, right? But there's a finite amount of stuff to do. I think maintaining 17,000 players, or 17,000 concurrent player peak just a month after launch is pretty good. A lot of MMOs wish that they could do that, but seeing an almost 50% decrease in a month is also a little bit concerning. So there is a positive spin and a negative spin that you can put on it. And so it begins. Currently waiting on a news outlet to report on this, as it is unclear exactly how many. Now is when we're going to go ahead here and take a look at the comment from the CEO himself, because he actually does define exactly how many. Here is Steven's, I think this is a Discord message over on Discord, or maybe it's a Reddit message. I'm not entirely sure. I want to add some clarity here because I know how concerning headlines like this can be. Recently, 9 people out of a team of about 250 were impacted as part of some targeted team adjustments. This was not a large-scale layoff and not a reflection of the health or future of Ashes of Creation. These are real people and friends, and this was not an easy decision. We're doing what we can to support those affected. At the same time, development on Ashes of Creation is continuing forward, and the team remains strong and fully engaged on the project. I appreciate how much this community cares. It means a lot to me and to the team. I just ask that we keep the conversation respectful and grounded in facts. So it looks like a minimum of 9 people were fired. This was out of a team of about 250. Wasn't really specific as to how many people there are currently employed, but he was very specific about how many were fired. One of the top comments here is, I don't see how they afford to pay 250 employees a year. And yeah, this guy's right. They really don't. We're doing what we can to support those affected. I don't believe that unless it comes from the mouth of those 9 people. That was my first thought as well. Company ain't doing shit. Good clarification. I feel like people on here will run wild with a narrative before even waiting for the basic facts, but at the same time, this isn't from the people that were affected. The people that were affected never stated why they were let go. He never stated why they were let go. Just that everyone there is family or friends. They were real people, and that it wasn't easy to do, but he did it anyway. And the reason for that's likely because they just don't have the money to continue paying that many people. And they hire people to fulfill a certain role, and once that role is fulfilled, So let's say it's to do with something regarding, I don't know, like dungeon generation. Once the dungeons in specific have been generated, then there's no need for them, so they are let go. So it makes sense. This isn't necessarily a negative thing. It could be something that they came on for. Maybe this was already outlined in their contract. It stated after like 3 months or 6 months of employment, once you have fulfilled your contractual obligation, then you will be let go until we need you again. Because why would you continue to keep them employed and pay them regularly when you don't need them? You wouldn't. It's just that simple. So there's definitely a negative spin you could put on this. They're not making much money. They don't have the funding anymore to continue to pay this many people. Yeah, that's totally plausible. But at the same time, you know what? Maybe they just fulfilled their contractual obligations and now they've been let go. I think they're the two options here. I know people love to hate on Ashes of Creation. It's a game that is currently in development, right? People love to hate on games before they play them, during playing of them, and then after they have subsequently played them, because hating on games these days is a new cool hip thing to do. People do it with MMOs, people do it with gacha games, but at the end of the day, nobody knows exactly what happened. Nobody knows why this is happening. Nobody knows if this is going to happen again in the future. It likely will. And as they get closer to release, they're also probably going to continue to downsize. I don't think they should be, this far through the development process, because we still have probably years to go before the game releases. But I mean, again, it's impossible to know why this happened. But people are running with one of two narratives right now. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. Everything is good. And the other one, this is terrible. This is horrible. The house is burning down. Is it concerning? 110%. Of course it's concerning. It's always concerning when people are laid off, especially when the game hasn't released yet. But at the same time, is it going to detrimentally affect the game? Probably not. At the end of the day, the game is still being developed. The game is still moving along. And whether they hire more people or let more people go, the final version of the game is going to determine whether or not this game is good. And one day, we might get that version of the game.
One eternity later.
Disappointed.